Jim, who is the author of Fetch, a very popular Mac FTP client, is actually going to be our secretary for our use case meeting. So we are starting with Eddie.
Okay.
Eddie, whose idea was to make this a more of an event-based application. Can you give us one or two or three use cases?
But I mean, it should pretty much just be like plopping something down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just like, boom, I'm here, and that's it.
But you'll have to specify a date, right?
Yeah.
And a location.
Yeah.
And a time.
True. All right, okay, okay.
And then you'll probably want to specify if it's public or private.
For
Right.
like people inviting certain people and stuff
That's
like
right.
that.
So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so is it this just for my friends, or is this for the whole world? Anybody can show up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. If the location was merely an attribute of the event, then you could just change the location and everyone would see it, you know, easily, instead of us all having to talk and, oh, you didn't know, we changed it at the last minute, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be a really a good usability factor.
I was thinking it might be handy if you could also associate a hash code for Twitter with the event, so that if you were watching this, you could actually see tweets related to that event that were coming from that event as well.
Location-based tweets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes, and because we would know the time and the longitude and latitude, we got to also do location-based tweets as well, even if they weren't marked with the hash code.
Yeah, because the hash code will be okay for things before the event, but if we could show tweets that were happening during the time, if it's a future-based thing.
Right, right. Max, you do.
One important aspect design-wise, I think, is if you if you're on the go and you want to tell your friends where you are and what you're doing, the input has to be really quick, because I want to be doing what I'm doing at the event. I don't want to be like playing with my iPhone, like you said before. It's about actually being social and not creating like another like social app that you spend hours with. So the input has to be really fast. So you should really let the user define how much detail he wants to give to the event. So there's a really quick input, and then there's expanded input if he wants to.
Right.
So make it as quick as possible and like on the go.
Right.
To make it snappy and have like that way. If you make it really hard, you'll only have like very few people adding events. If you make it easy, like Twitter is popular because it's so easy.
Mm-hmm.
If we do the same, it will increase the amount of events we have.
Right. One of the things I was thinking about was that events that I plan, they only happen at a few different locations. So once I've used a location, it should be sort of automatically suggested, or I should be able to pick that from
Like a bookmark.
list. Like a bookmark, yeah.
And maybe you don't really need the address, so you don't have to type in the address, but you can just locate yourself and say, I'm here, and this is the event. I just ran into this event, and it's great, so come join me.
Yeah. So be able to take photos and attach them to an event. Yes. I think it'd also be good to be able to do text, so you could take notes at a meeting or something and be able to attach that to the event as well.
Things you usually do after an event, for example, plan a follow-up or touch photos or stuff like that. Maybe
We'll just comment on it.
See who was there,
Right, right.
catch up.
Can I stop you guys for a second? So
Sure.
basically, I'll have my iPhone in my hands, and this application will allow me to... I open the application and there is a map. What is it? Will I see a map on it?
It is a good question. I mean, that's one way we could specify locations with a map, but actually people find it kind of hard to go and find the location of their local bar. It would probably be easier if they could just type in the address,
Okay.
I would think.
Or the name.
Or the name, or
basically,
both.
the address is okay if you know the place you are, but like if it's a city you know, but if it's something that you've never been to, you don't know the address. So it would be nice to sort of have a map, and then maybe have, all the locations of the events, and the bigger the event or the more important or the more people join, you have a more prominent sort of like pinpoint to the event, a bigger circle, a more prominent color, something
Right.
like that.
But if I'm in London tonight, and I want to see what's going on and where my friends are, so I open this application, and what I see? What do I see?
You could see actually a map, and that's what he's saying.
a
is
map
that there would
full
be
of flags?
You
Like
can
with
locate
flags.
yourself.
We would call those annotations. They're actually built into the map kit that comes with the phone.
And
And
the
the idea is
flags...
the annotations could be larger for events that you might want to go to.
Okay.
So it has sort of an algorithm. It has an event genius that would be always guessing what would you be interested in based on how close are you to it, how many of your friends are there.
Yeah. So if would I be able to see a flag placed there by someone that I don't know?
I think so. The idea being that there could be public meetings that all your friends were going to. So you have a bunch of friends who are writers, and there's a writers meeting that's open to the public. A lot of your friends are going. It would show up on your map, even though you were not particularly invited,
Okay.
if it was a public event.
Okay.
That's how I imagine it. But we're still so early in the design
Okay.
process, we don't really know. What else? How do we get people signed up? You had a great idea for passwordless.
Yeah, the problem
Accounts.
with passwords is you have to sign up. Signing up to a service is a chore.
Sounds good to me. And one of the ideas that we had was the idea of email. The way to spread the popularity of the application is that if I am inviting Eddie to the gathering, and he doesn't have Meaty Wiki yet, Wikimedia, it would send him a link where he could download it, and then it would have a second link that would actually open up inside the application. So he would read the mail in his phone, and when he clicked on it, it would actually take him to the application.
Another aspect of the passwordless sign up and sign in is, for example, BlackBerry. They have every BlackBerry, when you buy it, gets a BlackBerry pin, and then you have this extremely popular messenger, BlackBerry Messenger, which nobody would ever use if they actually have to sign up, because the device is not half as usable as the iPhone. But since you get this ID without effort, that's why it's so popular. So we can sort of manage to get the same thing done with the iPhone. That would be a real productivity killer and like usability killer as well.
But it's true also that finding events is something you'll do a lot more commonly than creating events.
Exactly.
So your first thought is the finding event screen should be the first one to come up.
Who knows?
But it may be something that it comes up and it doesn't use your location services unless you specifically say.
Yeah, maybe so.
So like Google Maps, right? Google Maps doesn't go and find out where you are until you click the Find
Okay.
Me button.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How about notifications?
Yep.
That you've been invited to things. So there's a bunch of different ways we could do notifications. We can do push notifications. We can do notifications via email. We could do notifications through SMS.
I think that should be something decided by user preference, probably. I mean, we may be time limited and we may only be able to implement some of those, but I know some people, you know, I personally never turn on push notifications. I find them annoying. I'd prefer to get an email that I can check, you know, when I check my email about some things. But I know other people who would probably prefer, you know, if you get some people just like having notifications.
Don't you use Ping? It's a great program.
I do not use Ping.
And could be some integration with calendars apps.
With, I'm sorry, which apps? There's
Calendar apps like
Calendar apps.
iCal or Google Calendar. For
Right.
example.
So events are often something you want to add to your calendar. It'd be nice if the email, when it comes, includes either an ICS file, which you
Yeah.
could open up and it would be added to your calendar, or a webcal URL where you would be subscribing to a calendar. I think integration with the calendar is crucial.
Mhm.